Hey Park Hills, it's Pastor Alex and Pastor Grant here with another Spiritual Disciplines video. And I want to start this one off just telling a short little story about a cool moment I got to share with my dad a little bit ago. We were digging through some old stuff that I kept from my senior trip in high school. My dad and I went down to Florida and went to a bunch of baseball games, spring training. That was really meaningful time for me. And digging through my stuff, I found the 4 ticket stubs from the 4 games that we went to, way back in the day. And it was just cool to have these 4 items. Oh yeah, I remember when we went to this game and remember when we watched this. And it was just a cool moment to have those 4 things that point back to this cool event that I had, a handful of years ago.
Yeah, and there's certain things that are worth celebrating.
Right.
So you think of birthdays, anniversaries, just special moments in life where you even take a token and say, this is something that we can commemorate, celebrate, and just appreciate about this day.
Yeah, because remembering the past is important in all parts of life, including our spiritual life. Now, this last year has been quite the year to remember and celebrate. Looking back on the past year plus now, this at best is just something we got through, but at worst was just this life-changing, difficult time. But what if we didn't look at our last year plus that way? What if we looked back in the last year and said, what can we remember? What can we celebrate? What has God done in our lives in a meaningful and unique way, despite the circumstances of the world around us?
Yeah. And so you might be catching a tenor of what we're going to be talking about this month is we're going to practice celebrating as our spiritual discipline. And this is a biblical concept, and actually God is the one who puts before us a heart of celebration before his people. And even Judges 2 explains what happens when we forget what God has done and when we don't choose to celebrate. So Judges 2, starting in verse 10, after the whole generation had been gathered to their ancestors, another generation grew up who knew neither the Lord nor what he had done for Israel. Then the Israelites did evil in the eyes of the Lord and served the Baals. They forsook the Lord, the God and their ancestors who had brought them out of Egypt, and they followed and worshiped various gods of the peoples around them.
Yeah, so what did the Israelites do wrong here? Well, they forgot what God had done. And so the challenge to us is to not forget what God's doing in our lives, and we can do that by doing 3 things: remembering, celebrating, and commemorating. By doing these 3 things, we can remember what God has done, and that helps us as we look at our future. Because even Jesus did this. Like, Jesus celebrated Hanukkah, which was a holiday that the Jewish people had, remembering, celebrating, and commemorating an event of the purification of their temple.
Yep. So let's get practical for us, right? So remembering, let's take some time to think and reflect. And sometimes you just pick a calendar day and say, yep, I'm going to reflect on the last 3 months, last year, whatever it may be. And just think, what has God done? Sometimes we can be a glass half empty kind of individual, but let's seek to see what he has done. Secondly, commemorate. We create something to help us remember. So this is the ticket stub, for example. And then thirdly, we celebrate what great things God has done. We thank him for it. We even want to throw a party, perhaps, and celebrate this God for what he has done in our lives, and just thank him.
Yeah, so we hope you enjoy doing this week and celebrating. Let us know how you're celebrating and what God's been doing in your life. And until next time, we'll see you later.
Yep, thanks.